Hi guys, we're Marc and Tania. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to show you how we install the Fresair 12V AC unit. Marc?
What did I miss? Hi, we're Marc and Tania.
I already did that.
Oh. Okay, so we just opened the box. It comes with a load of stuff. First of all is the actual AC unit, and it's got the water hoses and the electrics built right into it. So you've got two water hoses, one for water to come in and one for water to come out. And you've got an electrical harness. This goes to your DC power system in your van, and this one goes to the pump that's located on the reservoir. So this was already installed on the reservoir. This is meant for a horizontal installation. We are probably going to install it vertically, so I think this has to be changed to here, but we'll get to that later. But this can either be mounted horizontally or vertically. Owner's manual. There's some warranty stuff, there's some technical data, there's some stuff about how to maintain it, but instruction booklet you're going to have to find online. There are some decals, so if you want to pretty the thing up when you're done, you've got them. Remote control, brackets to attach either one of these, either the tank or the head unit. Two extra water pumps. So the video actually says there's 3 extra water pumps that comes in it, but I think one of them is the one that's already attached, so we got 2 extra ones. There are a bunch of bolts and hardware for attaching to roofs of different sizes. I guess depending on what kind of mounting system you have underneath will determine the length of bolt you use. They give you some zip ties and some of these sticky zip tie things for your wiring. This right here, no idea. It wasn't mentioned in the video, it wasn't mentioned in the installation guide. It's actually not mentioned anywhere, so I really have no idea what it's for, but it looks like just standard bolts and plus nuts, which we have, so I don't really know what it's for, but we'll have to figure it out. Okay, 2 rolls of this tape. So this one, the thinner one, is actually not used. You use this to build up the ridges on the roof, so if you need something to build up those ridges to meet the bottom of the unit, you'll use this thinner tape. The thicker tape is going to go around here and act as a gasket once it's installed on the roof. So this one is definitely necessary. This one may or may not be. Comes with a template which is pre-cut and tells you exactly how to cut it. This is the trim ring for the inside, so once it's completely installed on the roof, that'll be your trim piece. And then finally on the roof, you've got this plastic piece so that it looks all cool from the outside. And that's it. So the way this thing works is actually pretty cool. So like I said, it connects to your DC power supply through these wires, and the DC power feeds this pump right here. So the pump takes water from the reservoir, pushes it through those tubes into this chamber here, and it circulates it in this area where it eventually gets absorbed into this pine filter right here. So now you've got this pine filter that's kind of moist with this water from your water tank. Then it pulls air from the inside of the van and pushes it through this wet filter. Now the water in the filter then evaporates. So the concept is for that water to evaporate, heat must have been added to it. Well, where do we get the heat? From the room temperature air. So now what we have left is cold air. So room temperature air comes in, goes through the pine filter, the heat is extracted, and out goes super cold air into your van. So this thing solves a huge problem for us. We live in Atlanta right now. It's March, it's about 67 degrees. By May it'll be 172 degrees, and it'll stay like that for like 3 months. So it's really important for us to have AC in the van. And if you watched our last videos, we thought about having a portable AC unit, which would have been fine. The problem is we had to lug the thing around, and we weren't sure where we were going to put it. We weren't sure how we were going to vent it. We saw a lot of portable units. You have to actually run a vent out the window. Didn't really want to deal with that. So we ended up going with this one. It is super efficient as far as energy goes. I think it only draws 10 amps at max if it's on full blast. So 100 amp battery, 100 amp hour battery means you could run this ideally for 10 hours. So it's a little complicated figuring out exactly how to put this thing. I went on the roof and I made sure that this would fit directly on top of this raised piece in the Promaster, and it looks like it will. Then I had to do some modifications on this. I wanted to make sure I understood which way the front of the van points, the back of the van. I put a center line in here with some tape to show me where exactly the center of the opening is. I marked where the edges of this raised piece are, just because it's a little hard to figure out where to put this. So what I did was, once I figured on the roof that that center point would work, I marked it down here as well. So I took the edges, marked where the center point of this raised part is. Then I used this piece of wood that I cut. It's just a piece of wood that basically shows me where these holes are. So I can line this up here. The corners match with the holes on the template because I want to build a frame that it goes around those holes. I then stick this up here and I line it up with the center point, and I know that my 4 holes are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now I've got the holes, where the holes are going to go, laid out. And I'm not going to drill them, but I'm going to use them to build my frame. So now I will build a frame that I make sure goes right around those holes. And when we install the fan, I should be able to, when we install the AC unit, we should be able to drill right through from the top, and it'll give us something to bite into. Good morning, everyone. If you remember last night, we built this 1x3 frame. It's 1x3 here. I had to cut it down on the bandsaw a little bit because this part of the ceiling is a bit close, so I wanted to avoid that. But this will basically sit right in here, right about there, and we will cut the hole for the air conditioner. It should drop right in, and then the 4 bolts that hold the air conditioner in place should sit in the corners of this frame, and we should be good to go. And then we'll build up the edges of this frame to meet up with the same level as these ceiling joists, so that when we put our ceiling in, it'll be nice and flat. So that's it. Next step is to drill a pilot hole and then get up on top of the roof and drill a hole, cut out the cutout for the AC unit. So let's go. Next order of business was to put up some plastic. That way when the metal starts falling into the van, we catch it on something. Tania always does a better job than I do with that. And we've got the template, and we cut out the part that's for the van. So it has a template, it has a cutout already in it, but that looks like it's for a golf cart. If you're actually going to do a van or trailer, it shows this kind of short dot and long dotted line, which is right here. So you're basically going to make I think it's a 13 1/4 by 13 1/4 opening. So we'll go ahead and tape this to the roof of the van. We'll mark it and we'll start cutting. And there we are, marked and all ready to drill and then cut. See, now I got a little problem. The plastic's up, the roof's all set up, ready to drill and cut, and Tania's not here. See, when it comes to like the hard work, she usually does it. I'm really just the eye candy of this operation, so not sure what to do. Maybe I'll wait for her. Yeah, I'll wait for her to get home. Okay.
Hey.
Hey, baby, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What you doing?
Just doing some errands.
Cool. You coming home soon?
Why are you working on the van? Do you need me to come home and work on the van?
No, I got it. I totally got it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Just thinking about you, hoping you're coming home soon.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll be there in a little bit.
Okay, love you.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Hey everyone, so Tania's back and now we're gonna drill and cut the roof, right?
Yes.
I could do it. I mean, I wasn't waiting for you to do it. I was gonna do it myself, but I wanted to give you a chance to do something.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
So I have just used a 3/8 build. So I've just used a 3/8 drill bit to make pilot holes because that is the size of the blade to cut this out. There were some shards of metal, so we cleaned that up. And this wood, as I'm cutting, is gonna prevent the metal piece from falling into the van. So now that I've already done the pilot holes with the drill, next is this. So now I am going to file the edges because they are rough, and just preparing this so we can put some Rust-Oleum on them for rust.
So now that you've done the easy part of cutting and drilling, I'm gonna take the plastic down.
Okay.
All right?
I really appreciate your help.
Yeah, might go take a nap or have some coffee. Okay.
So just for all you ladies out there who are watching this video, I just want you to know that if I can do it, you can do it. So now we're gonna do a test fit. So let me put this down. So here's our test fit, and it's working. Fits like a glove.
So obviously it fits because Tania did an awesome job. Now we've got to take the pine filter out because underneath it is 4 holes that we have to drill through the top of the van to attach this thing underneath. So how do you do that? I think it's these clips. There's one on your side. So one thing we realized when you try to flip the pine filter out, this hose gets really tight and it looks like it's almost going to break. So you've got to go here and just push it into the holes and give it a bunch of slack. Once you do that, you can take the pine filter out and flip it out of the way.
Now that we have removed the pine filter, we can see the holes, and it's where these red caps are. See all 4 of these? You just remove these like so, and then we're gonna drill down into each one. This is what's gonna hold this onto the roof. Once we're done, we'll put the caps back on to keep it waterproof.
So we have a test fit, looks good. Now we're going to drill into the 4 holes where they say universal with a 5/16 inch drill bit. At that point, we'll pull the unit out. We'll put polyurethane. We'll put Rust-Oleum around all the holes, and then we will fit the frame in that we talked about before. Glue it, let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow we'll put this thing in.
So Mark drilled the first 2 holes, and then we put bolts in them to keep this from shifting. Then he drilled the third and the fourth hole, and we've put bolts in. This is the last bolt. We just want to make sure that all holes line up before we do anything else.
So this is what we have inside the van. We've got the 4 holes pretty much where we expected, maybe just a little bit off, but pretty much where we expected them to be. And now we will drop the frame on top and see where we have to put some adhesive and glue it down.
So we removed the unit, and there are shards of metal, so really important to clean up. We don't want any rust.
Tania and I put the frame in place from underneath the roof of the van, and we marked out the locations of where the 4 bolt holes are going to go. So now I've moved that 5/16 inch bit to my drill press. I'm going to drill through these, and then I'm going to use a Forstner bit on the other side to have room for the nut when it's time to tighten these things in. After we test fit the AC unit, we use these 4 bolts to figure out where the holes in the wooden frame have to go. Then we went into the garage. We used the drill press to drill 5/16 inch holes for those bolts, and then we used a Forstner bit on the other end to make room for the nut. So now what we're going to do is put some construction adhesive on the top of this. We will stick it to the ceiling, we'll clamp it down, and we will let it sit for 24 hours. Tomorrow we come back, remove the clamps, and put in the AC unit. I can feel it getting colder already.
Let me hold it.
Sure. Yeah. Sure, that's good. Good morning. We're back again, and we've got about 2 hours before it starts raining, so we've got to kind of get this done. So I woke up early this morning. I pulled the clamps off of here, and we went ahead and put some of that black Rust-Oleum paint on here to protect the edges. We did that to the big opening and to the screw holes. The only other thing was I started building out some pieces to put under this frame because I want the ceiling pieces to be nice and flush. So this looks complicated, but basically it's a piece of 1x2 where I put some wood shims that you get from Home Depot for next to nothing. I glued them underneath. That's basically going to sit right here, and the shims are going to help approximate the curve of this thing. So we'll go ahead and nail that in. I also made one for this side, and we'll build up this side as well. So for now, we're going to go ahead and get the thing installed so we can cover it up before the rain comes. The next thing we're going to do is take this, the fatter tape that it came with, and it's going to go around this edge here, so right before the this kind of meshed part. So we're going to put the tape all around this edge inside of these bolt holes. And it looks pretty easy on the video, so I'm going to assume it's going to be really easy, like everything else is with van life. We've got the bigger tape, the fat tape put on this edge. I think this was actually the first easy job since we started the van build. So this fits together well. Now we're going to use the thinner tape. On the video they say it's not needed, but this is what you'll use to fill in the ridges if you have one of these vans that has this roof that kind of goes like this. So we're going to get up on the roof now and fill in the ridges, then we'll go ahead and pop this into the hole.
Good morning. I am tracing the outline of the air conditioning unit so that we can put the tape under there to kind of build it up and seal it. So we needed to build up the roof because it's all wavy and wonky. It's not a flat surface. So we want to make sure that it's good and sealed. So we took this wood and we went across the top, and we just kind of filled in where we thought that it needed to be, the roof needed to be built up so that when we put the air conditioning unit in, it's nice and sealed tight.
Rain's on its way, so we're trying to get done. We went ahead and dropped the air conditioning unit into the hole, and we tightened up these bolts. Later we'll build up the frame to match the height of the ceiling. When you're tightening these bolts, you kind of need somebody watching up here, because you could easily start to deform. In fact, you'll see this plastic start to deform as you tighten the bolts a little too much. So you'll need someone up there to watch all this stuff. So next thing I'm going to do is put the red caps back. I'm going to probably vacuum this mess out actually. Then put the red caps back on, snap the filter in place, and put the cover on, hopefully before that. All right, I hear the thunder. Now that the pine filter's in place, we've gone ahead and snapped it back down. The 4 red caps are in place under here. I'm going to go ahead and put the shroud back on. So the shroud takes 2 small screws in the front and then longer screws on the 4 sides. So let's get that done. Good morning. Another day in the trenches. All right, we've survived the storm. The last thing we need to do here is attach this. Truth be told, I did it yesterday. I just did it wrong because I was in such a rush because I thought I was going to get zapped with lightning. So there are 6 screws that come in the box. 6 screws, 2 short ones and 4 long ones. That means 2 that are about a ½ inch long, 4 that are about an inch long. Apparently you need to do the ones in the front first, and that's the short screws. So I did that wrong yesterday. We're gonna try again. Not gonna lie, that took forever. I literally had to lie down on this thing to get the screws in the holes to line up. So six screws, 2 small ones in the front, put those in first, and then it was easiest for me to put the back ones in next to the long ones, and then the remaining 2 long ones go on the side. But that was the hardest part of the whole project so far. Whew. All right, now we go. I think now we fill the tank and test it. Let's go. The last thing we have to do is fill up the tank. So this thing comes out of the box set up for horizontal installation. And it looks like we're actually, hoses are long enough where we're actually going to be able to install it next to our water tank in the back of the van. The only thing is that the return valve, no. The return port is not drilled out, so it's got to be drilled out. Now it doesn't say in the instructions what size drill bit to use, so I'm going to use this one. It just fits in here. And what size is it? 5/32. So that's what I'm using because I can't figure out what else to use. So all we got to do is drill through this to allow for the return. That was probably overthinking because that was really easy. Now all we have to do is fill it and then plug in the hoses, and we can test this thing finally. Let's go. Down to the last little bit, we're finally going to test this. This is already full of water. There are 2 tubes that we need to connect and some power. So there is an input tube and there is a tube where the water comes out. The tube where the water returns is red, and that one goes up here for a horizontal orientation. The other tube that goes into the unit comes from the water pump. And we would probably do these a little bit better. We'd probably put something to tie it around, but this is just to test the unit. Then we take the electrical harness. This is going to go to our DC power supply, which is Tania's car battery. And then we've got something that's going to power the water pump and the water meter. So hopefully, all right, that one is in. Then power to the pump. This is all connected. Pump, meter, input hose, and the return hose. So this is actually going to sit like this, and hopefully it's not going to leak. Okay, now all that's left is this. And this may seem a little crazy, but we're connecting this to Tania's car battery. Haha, I heard something. All right. That's it. So, let's see what this thing's doing. Lights are on. Feel that. So we can hear the pump activating. The pump is now pulling water up into this tube and sending it through here where it's going to circulate, and you can already feel the air is nice. Look at that. We have an air conditioner.
Love the fact that it doesn't draw a lot of energy, but it is definitely putting out some serious cold air, so that's a plus. Super excited. These vents are great because not only do they close and open, but they also rotate, which is really, really neat. You can rotate them any direction you want. There's a nice light here, and then there's different levels. So, really cool. Yay!
Tania is absolutely right. This thing is blowing out some seriously cold air. Now it's only 60 degrees here, so we're not going to feel that much of a temperature difference, but it is really nice. So we also went ahead and installed a bunch of this trim pieces. So the idea is when the roof comes in, you can see it's got a nice flat place to sit there. It's going to sit there nicely, so it gives us somewhere to nail into, and here as well. So there and in the back, we've got some good level places for the ceiling. So I think we are done. Every once in a while you can hear the pump kick back on as it pushes more water up here, but it's amazing. It's really quiet and it's doing a great job. So we are super happy that we put this thing in. This is going to be great for the summer.
So the AC unit is in. We're super excited. It works
Really well.
Yes.
So we have the sliding door open, and we were all the way in the back of the van, and you can feel the air pushing back to there. So
Yes.
really excited about the way this thing turned out. Install was pretty easy. So if you're going to do it, feel free to leave a comment. Get in touch with us if we can help you through anything. If you like the video, please click the like button and feel free to subscribe if you want to follow along on our entire van build journey as we convert this to a little mobile home on wheels. So until then, we'll be back next time to do probably the other shore power adapter, and then we're going to start wiring, finish the roof. We've got a lot of fun stuff to do, right?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Super exciting.
Yes. So we will see you next time.
Bye.